This show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the heat.
And welcome in, everybody. We are live right here, Heat Ratio Live, Heat Ratio Sports. You see the banner behind us. I am Tony. This is Dan. We got Mark. We got Dave. The Fourth and Go boys are here tonight, live in beautiful Bucks County, as always, broadcasting from the Steam Pub with the real-time draft beer list. You see it right on the bottom of the screen. Go to steampump.com, stop in, say hello, grab a beer, grab something off their extensive menu, and tell them the HRS boys sent you guys a lot to get into this week. But Dave and Mark making the trip, man. It's your first. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Good, Tone. Good, Dan. And it's Fourth and Go tonight, man. We did the pilgrimage, made the trip. So glad to be here. Steam Pub. This place is hype, man. Love it. Having one right now. Can't wait to get a little bit of this food and talk some good sports with you guys.
Yeah, man. This is the way it's all about. Mark, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
What up? You know, you guys had to get the official what up. We got our brews. We got 2 French dips coming on the way. So, we have to indulge in the food. It looks good. Excited. Like I said, we made the trip up here, and we're ready to go live on Heat Ratio Sports because you know what we're doing. We're bringing the heat.
Yes, we got to bring the heat, man. There's a lot of heat to talk about. Now, we may have musical microphones. If any part of the group shows up, I think Al's going to be here. If he's not here already, we'll get him in here for some Sixers takes, as always. I don't know if Jay's going to be here, and he'll probably talk for 3 hours about everything else, but we love him to death. But Jay does like to talk. But you know that. Follow Sports Skillet Radio every Sunday, Jay. Laugh at that. It's all good. But let's get right into it, guys. And I did this specifically for Dan. Nick's not here tonight. Nicky Nuts is not in here. And we're going to lead the show off because not everybody's listening right now, and we want to kick this topic first, and that's the Philadelphia Flyers. And I don't talk hockey, all right, even though I got everybody a little excited with some of my hockey knowledge when I start naming people. But the Philadelphia Flyers were supposed to be a different team in 2022, but that has been far from the case. What moves can be made to turn things around? Now, Dan, tell me, 12 games? Is it 12 games now that we lost?
Baker's dozen, possibly tonight.
So we've lost 12 games in a row. Number one, has that ever been done before?
No.
Has it ever been done?
One time.
One time?
They tied.
Jones's team.
Yeah,
Jones's
98, 99,
yeah.
I think it was.
Tonight'll break.
Tonight's the break. And it's happening.
That's
they're
right.
losing tonight. I'm telling you right now, they're losing.
Against the Islanders,
Yeah, they're just this is bad, Dan.
Yep.
And we got live Sixers and Flyers action tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
we do.
So we'll have it on the screen above us. We got it at the screen at the bar.
So
Our
if we're
patrons will let us
distracted,
know.
that's why.
What's that?
If we're distracted, that's why.
Well, we're not going to be distracted by the Flyers. But Dan, let me stay on you for a minute.
Right.
Not literally, but behind the mic. So we talk about Carter Hart, and I have to start with that because he was supposed to be our savior. He was supposed to be our saving grace. We talked about this in Philadelphia sports. We had the quartet basically when we had Harper, right? We're going with Harper. We got Carter Hart, right? So Carter Hart, man, what's going on? Is he okay?
This year he is not to blame whatsoever. Last year I was very hard on him, and I was getting heat from a lot of people. I mean, the guy had an .874 save percentage. He would duck on every high shot. He just was terrible last year. But I was told by countless people it's the horrible defense in front of him, and I agree to some extent that had a lot to do with it, and then it ultimately shakes your confidence. But you still got to make saves and bail your team out every once in a while, and he was not doing that last year. This year he's got, I believe, around a .912 save percentage with an equally as bad defense in front of him, if not worse. So he is not the problem, neither is Martin Jones. They started off this year with a nice stretch at the beginning of the year where I was saying on my show, Little plug for Flyer and Ice.
Ah.
On our show, we were saying how they have 3 really good balanced lines. No really number one line, just 3 good lines. And we thought they turned the page from last year. And then all of a sudden, it's like it happens again. This team is just god awful. I don't know what the character traits of this team would be, that they shut off coaches so quickly, that they do well at some point honoring a system, and then all of a sudden they don't honor it. Their gap control as far as passing the puck is god awful. They're just a bad hockey team. And at least, and Dave can attest to this, another hockey guy, at least when they were bad pre-Lindros, they still had fighting. You still had Tony Horacek, Terry Karkner, and company dropping the gloves when they were playing bad hockey. So you had something to look forward to. This team has nothing, no grit. Seldom do they hit hard. And obviously they're not scoring or winning games. So it's a hard team to watch.
I think you hit it on the head there, though, Dan. The not scoring is what makes this team so unwatchable. If they let up 2 goals, you might as well change the channel.
Correct.
They haven't scored more than 2 goals in a couple games in this losing streak. They're so flat. Just looking last night, they thought they had the juice, the jam. They thought they were playing well. They got a lucky goal from Provorov going off Dallas's skates, and they just create nothing exciting. That's the worst part about this team. They are so unwatchable, and it's a shame. Tone, you asked earlier, what's the things they can do? It's a total teardown, in my opinion, and it starts with Mike Yao. But you build around Carter, right? But Claude Giroux going at the deadline. Give him let him go in peace. Like, there's just no more hope here. And I just think we just need to tear this thing down. And would I let Fletcher do it? Yes, I would give him one more chance. How about you?
Well, they almost have to. If they don't make a move soon, I hate when you let a GM go through a trade deadline and then get rid of him in the offseason. Yeah. It makes no sense to me. So, I think he's going to have one more year. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I would have liked for them to have cleaned house when they got rid of AV back, a few months ago. But to Dave's point, Claude Giroux has a no trade clause or a no movement clause. My hunch is he'll waive that. And for someone like Giroux, you're going to get a nice young player and draft capital in return. Now you just got to think about other players. Rasmus Ristolainen, we gave up a number 1 draft pick for him last year, hoping that he would want to stay and sign. I haven't been impressed with his play. He hasn't been the heavy hitter that I expected. He hits now and then, but he was a vicious hitter his whole career, and he's just every other game for me. He has some trade value, perhaps, because he's a free agent, so he's not going to stay with this club. So Keith Yandel, and it's funny, Dave more than likely will be on our show tomorrow for Flyer and Ice, 4:45 tomorrow, Wednesday, everyone. And we're going to put our GM hats on and talk about players that we would like to see moved and what we could get in return. The thing is, we're experiencing right now, Keith Yandel, as we, in a matter of moments when the Flyers play the Islanders, will set the all-time consecutive games played streak. I don't feel the love for that streak because he's been a Flyer for a minute. 900 and change were over 920 of those games were with other clubs, and he's an absolute defensive liability. So it's a bittersweet thing. Yeah, he's going to set the record, but it just reminds us that he's part of the problem. What is he, minus 22, Dave? Something in that ballpark?
And counting. I mean, listen, about Yandel, it's great, and I agree with you. He broke a record, but it's shameless because he's horrible. He's like he was minus 21 when we talked last week, so that's why I say and counting.
I don't want to look anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. He's terrible, but it's the only thing they have, so they keep rolling him out there. I think, Mark, you had a point?
Yeah, no, so I know if we're talking about the trade deadline and everything like that, but I wanted to kind of going back to your point about the lack of fighting. This team has no identity whatsoever. I've been saying that since probably around when the season started back up against last year. They don't do anything well. Besides the fact they're not physical, they don't score. They're not a finesse team. They're not a speed team. Besides Carter Hart being a better goalie this year, and last year was a lot on him. This year I've at least seen some improvement. But just like I'm more of a novice of the Flyers fan as you guys are. I'm not as heavy in the Flyers. I'll tell you, I look at this team and I can't tell you what they do well. What do they do well? Nothing.
Nothing.
Like, it's not even because they weren't, even when they were better and they were in that Montreal series. And Montreal took it to them last year when they got back into it after beating that round robin involved in winning the number 1 seed, in that weird year. They don't do anything well whatsoever. And that's the thing. Like, every team that has something, they have an identity. They have something that makes them them. And there's not one category where they excel and they're average to below average. And now they're below average. And we're seeing it, what happens when that doesn't come to fruition.
Wait, hold on. It's so funny because Mark's like, I don't know what they do well. I don't even freaking know who these guys are. Like, you're talking Yandel, I hear Candle. Like, honestly, I don't even know. I don't follow hockey. That's how exciting they are because I don't even know who they are, right? I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, to Mark's point, at the beginning of the year, what they did well was we thought they threw out 3 really balanced lines when they were all healthy, and we were impressed with that. And they clearly, at one point, were following a system, and it's all gone to hell in a handbasket. Now, once they started having injury and COVID issues, their organizational or lack of organizational depth has clearly shown. They've got very mediocre guys they're calling up. Obviously, you have a little hope in the Cam Yorks of the world. Wade Allison, if he ever stays healthy.
Frost,
but we're waiting for Frost. Farabee. Again,
I know he's hurt right now.
Farabee is
Keep it going, Tony.
another injury-prone guy, though. He's injury-prone.
Right.
Frost, Jack Frost.
Yes. He's nipping at your nose.
Like, seriously, now I'm not trying to be. I'm being honest. I have no idea who these guys are.
Just nod, Tone.
Yeah, yes. I'm fully transparent. Jigsaw don't know hockey.
But ultimately, to answer your question, Dave said it best. The term retool, that's nonsense. There's no retool. It's a tear down. They've
retooled for 10 years.
This team's bad, and part of the retool is if they do move on from Fletcher, who was an actually outside the organization hire.
Yeah,
they have to do it again.
From Pheonix, right? He came from Pheonix.
No, he came from Minnesota.
All right,
all right.
You're close.
We
said Ghost Spear to Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried, man. You got to give me a little something here.
Yeah.
A little something. So you say tear it down. So Dave says tear it down. Mark, do you tear it down?
Oh, 100%. I mean, they've been doing the same thing over and over, like we said. And even when you look back to like that Stanley Cup run back in 2010, they kind of like made it there on the same kind of morals, but they just had some talent and some things go their way. Remember, they were an 8th seed that got into that series. Shootout win on the last day of the season. And in hockey, it's one of those things where you get the hot hand at the right time.
Yeah.
Then you can make some noise. And literally, Michael Layton was our goalie half the time. Like
Michael Layton.
It was Layton, Boucher, because Emerson was hurt.
Yes.
And if you remember, like one of their hottest players that rode that playoff wave into a monster contract, and I just knew it was a waste, was Ville Leno. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
He signed like a $6 million per year contract with Buffalo, and I think was cut halfway through the year. He was terrible. But yeah, we had Pronger, so we had a young JVR, a young Claude Giroux, Richards and Carter. Yeah. All right. No, he wasn't on that team. But I don't want to start tearing up. So let's move on.
No, let's not tear on, because honestly,
in my opinion,
let's just go right past the Flyers now. Okay, and we're gonna go right and talk about NFL weekend. And I got to talk about it, man. We got to bring it up. Okay. So again, follow us right here, Heat Ratio Sports. Hit the YouTube subscription, hit the notification bell. Follow us on social formats. Follow at Steam Pub. Go at Steam Pub on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And again, they get on there with their real draft list. Whenever they tap a new beer, whenever they put a new one up behind the bar, it's live tweets online, so you know when to get here for the new stock. So go right into this, because I was blown away this weekend. I didn't sit down. I honestly knew that the Chiefs and the Bills game was probably going to be the cream of the crop. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about you guys, man. I did not foresee what was going to happen. I mean, listen, it took center stage. Obviously, it gave us historic, not just moments. So touching on those games specifically, but also games you recall that had that same feel in your lifetime that you were able to watch. Like me personally, I remember that 35-3 lead, the Frank Reich led Bills, right? Who thought the Bills were to come back against Warren Moon in a run and shoot the Houston Oilers? And they did. I thought that game was over. That was a historic moment. But to see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, we all knew whoever was going to get that coin toss, we knew was going to win that game because that's just the way the script was going. But 13 seconds, Dak couldn't get a first down in 13 seconds, right? And Mahomes goes down and ties the game. So what do you think about this weekend, man?
It was incredible. I mean, all 4 games were great. I think that they are all, all ended with a field goal essentially.
Final play.
Yeah.
They all final play.
But, before we even get to the overtime, and I think this game, if any game, will once again change the overtime rules. It's just my opinion. It might happen.
Play defense. I disagree. Just play defense.
No, I don't agree with that.
We'll
You're dead gassed.
Yeah.
You're dead gassed at the end of the game.
I say start him at the coin flip. I say start him at the 50-yard line. Almost like a college concept, but not the 20. Start him at the 50.
Right, the NFL has changed. It's all passing league. It's all like,
this world's all about acceptance, man. Stop. Let the big boys play. They get paid millions of dollars. Let them play. If they're gassed, then put a sub in. Then put a sub in.
I mean, Max Crosby never comes out.
What sport lets no other team touch the ball if you go down and score?
It's a better team won, right? They couldn't stop them.
But they won the coin flip.
Yeah, well, let's talk. Yeah, you're right. He's right. If
still got to play defense.
If Josh Allen gets
still
got to
play defense.
No, you're right. But that defense went out the window clearly. For the whole fourth quarter. But I was screaming at the TV. I was in disbelief that with 13 seconds left, they would kick it out of the end zone.
You know what? I'm not.
No,
anything can happen.
No. If they kick a high pooch kick, 3 things are going to happen. He's going to wait for a fair catch so that no time goes off the clock, and now you have him further back. He's going to try to run, but again, the ball's pooched high in the air, so the coverage will be there. Or 3, they're going to do run and lateral, and the game's going to probably end that way. That's how you had to approach that: a pooch or a hard squib kick.
I was going to say, why not a hard squib kick?
Yeah,
exactly.
One of the two. You can't.
You take time off the clock because if you give, say they get the ball back with 8-9 seconds, they can't do what they did.
No, they should have done what they did. To Tony's point to begin with, I totally get that. That being said, if anyone could do anything, it would be both those quarterbacks, but in particular, Mahomes.
That was the worst coverage I've ever seen, though. Literally, the guy was playing the outside route on Travis Kelce one-on-one, and they just ran a quick inside. He saw it the whole way.
Mahomes wanted to throw it twice.
He was so open.
Turn around.
He was so open.
What are you guarding the outside boundary when they have a timeout? There's no, it made no sense to me. That's on the Bills. We all know that. I'm with Tony. I think there's risk in kicking it into open field play with those fast runners.
Yeah, man.
I get that
they didn't have Hill back there, which surprised me.
But hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Right? You get the ball with 13 seconds. You have 2 plays. You never think they're going 35, 40 yards.
No, not at all.
I wanted to see a 60-yard field goal attempt just for the fun of it. Turned out to be very reasonable.
It was very reasonable.
So looking at the weekend in whole, it was the best weekend of playoff football in the history of the NFL, and that says a lot. I mean, you're looking at games that were decided by a total of 15 points. I think the next closest was somewhere around 20, 21 this round. Every game was phenomenal. Every game was competitive. Every game had its own kind of drama, right? Every game kind of painted its own picture and gave you different scenarios. You look at the Cincinnati-Tennessee game, and you got a young kid, Burrow, just looking fearless down there. But it wasn't just Burrow, right? Even though he did make some good plays and some key plays to win that game, it was Tannehill instead throwing 3 interceptions, which really just showed the weight that he has on his shoulders.
Yes, what happened to him?
What happened? Exactly. And then you go to the night game, Aaron Rodgers looks so disinterested, but he can still win that game. Who lets up a block punt with 4 minutes left in the game? That's got to go down as one of the worst special teams play in the history of football.
That's brutal, man.
Rodgers had so many chances to win that game, but you still look at the special teams. And then if you look at it closely, Green Bay had 10 people on the field on the last second field goal by Robbie Gould. How you already got a block kick, a block punt, and then you only roll it 10 out there? But again, own story. And then you look at the Tom Brady, Matt Stafford game. Very surprising that, LA was able to do what they needed to do against such a good defensive front, right? Pierre-Paul just couldn't create the pressure, but then to watch them start to fold under that pressure and then eventually succumb to it and throw that ball to Cooper Kupp. Every game was just it was amazing.
It was. And Al checking in, who's right here. He's going to be on the mic in about 10 minutes because we're going to get in our NBA section of this show. We got to bring the half-court Heat brethren in to talk about what is going on with this team. He says the best 2 days of football of all time. I completely agree.
No, I do.
It's going to be very – I kept saying that was our Super Bowl. So hard to top that. Like, everything's going to be a disappointment now. When you talk about, like, every game now, are you seriously that the San Fran game is going to live up to that hype? No, the Cincinnati, come on, man. Cincinnati and Kansas City. Let me ask you guys, does Cincinnati even have a chance? Seriously.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. Here, the problem is Joe Burrow couldn't, like he was able to do what he did. And they only put up, 17 points or 20 points, whatever. But the problem is he has no offensive line. And honestly, he got sacked 9 times against Tennessee. He'll probably get sacked 12 times just because he's going to go against. Melvin Ingram looked great.
Yeah, we did.
He actually looked great. He was back to life. And Pittsburgh traded him away for nothing.
So
now the problem is, what you're looking at that is Kansas City's going to run up the score. Tennessee blew the game. Now, and I really want to see, I would love to see Burrow in the Super Bowl. That would be something else. I mean, the storyline would be absolutely right. But there's no way. His line can't protect him. And then Kansas City right now, their offense is on another level. Like, they started off the year slow, but they're back.
Who's stopping Tennessee on defense?
Right.
I mean, who's stopping Kansas City on defense? Nobody. Exactly.
Nobody. I mean, LA is your best chance. The Rams. So, I mean, and honestly, I think it's hard. It's easy to predict. Something crazy would have to happen if it's not a KC LA Super Bowl.
Listen, I agree. LA was my preseason favorite. I'm sick of them.
San Fran's 2-0 this year against them, so we shall see.
Yeah, but they went all in
3 times against a team like that.
No, I'm predicting the Rams, but you never know.
The Rams went all in, and again, I say this all the time. Listen, I got to give homage to. I have 3 man crushes in the NFL.
I know them all.
Okay?
Don't say it.
Yes, and number 1 is Sean McVay.
No, he's such a.
Number 2 is Kyle Shanahan.
He's good.
And number 3 is Sean Payton.
I like
Sean Payton steps down 16 years a day, resigns the head coach. Now, who knows what happens? But I'll tell you what, boys, just stay on that for 1 second. If I'm the Eagles and I'm Howie, I'm picking up that phone super quick, and I'm saying, what's it take to get Michael Thomas out of New Orleans and into Philadelphia?
Yeah, I'm out.
Why?
Because he's injury prone and can only catch 5-yard passes. I need someone to stretch the field. And I'm not Michael Thomas had Drew Brees, right? It's not Jalen. That's who made Michael Thomas. I'm more on the Ridley train.
Yeah. Oh, I like Ridley too.
Yeah, I'm not.
I like Ridley too.
I just think we need speed. That's just my opinion. I'm not out on Thomas if you can get 5, 6 round, 5th, 6th round. But it won't happen. I know that.
Dave,
but you really like Michael Thomas?
Yeah,
he stinks.
And I can't guard Mike. Are you kidding me? He stinks.
He hasn't played in a while.
Wait a minute. I'm flabbergasted here.
When he played, he had 2 catches.
What?
He played 1 game, came back with 2 catches.
He had a bad ankle, man.
That keeps you out for a year and a half.
Shut
up, dummy. He had a bad year last year. Ask me the year last year. Give me back to 2020.
Listen,
he was horrible.
Michael Thomas,
horrible,
is a top 5 receiver in the NFL.
Oh no,
when he's healthy. You got to really tell me.
Tony's hanging out with Josh Gordon.
When he's healthy. What's that?
I think you're hanging out with Josh Gordon.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know what's going on here, man. Michael Thomas all of a sudden stinks.
When he was healthy, he was a beast. There's no doubt about it. Yeah,
but maybe he's healed now. So I'll be in the middle of you guys because I wouldn't say he's a top 5 receiver right now.
Play for him for sure.
But I would take him. I would take him maybe like a 3rd rounder if you're trading a 3rd rounder for him for the potential. But here's the problem. And Tony, I think you're going to disagree with me.
Probably. But, all right. That's what we do.
But I mean, I don't think anybody's going to want to come here with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback because their offensive numbers aren't going to be. I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
You're another Hurts hater.
I'm a Hurts hater. I'm sorry. Like,
that's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
I like what he is as a team, a locker room leader, and everything like that. But honestly, I don't think he has a arm talent. I don't think it's going to get better. I think what you see from his arm is what it's going to be, and I don't think that changes. Like, a good point is, Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver on the free agent market. Obviously, he's not coming here. Nope. His production's going to go down. Whether you like Jalen Hurts or not, you got to be realistic with yourself. And you got to say, I'm going with somebody with a big arm if it's not Aaron Rodgers. Like, I can't go from what I was doing with Aaron Rodgers to Jalen Hurts, who I mean, yes, he's going to be the number one receiver here. We're going to have both of the Devontaes, but his production's going to go down. Like, he's got to think about, his numbers and everything like that. And it's not here. So when you look at that, like, yes, if you can trade into a situation like Michael Thomas or even Calvin Ridley, who is probably the more obtainable wide receiver, it's still going to be tough. Like, to get a big name like that, I don't think it's going to happen, but you got to hope to luck into a trade like that. But like I said, if they could get Michael Thomas, I agree. I'm Howie. I'm on the phone seeing what you can get it for him.
I got to ask, because I do. I know Dave's eating right now. I don't know what's in his egg roll or what's in the beer that he's drinking, right? Okay, but all right, we're 28. He's 28 years old, okay? Yep. Let me just read this off to you. Okay, I don't care Drew Brees or not. 92, 104, 125, 149. He has the best catch percentage in a 1,500-yard receiving season ever since 1992. Are you kidding me? This guy stinks? Wait a minute. 1 year. 1 year he hurts an ankle, gets 40 catches. Yeah. On a bad ankle.
So my belief is with him.
Talk to me, Dave. Help me out.
I do think quite possibly this guy was all a little roided or lifted up. Like, listen, I just think the end here, he does not beat you with speed. He did not come out of college as a highly ranked wide receiver. I know he's from Ohio State, but I just don't believe in Michael Thomas. I think the end is there, and it's no offense. He's also a little bit of egomania. It's just not a guy I want on my team. Stinks might have been a strong word, but he's a guy that I think it's long past time for him.
He's probably going to show a lot of rust,
and I just don't. Yeah,
of course you're going to show a lot of rust,
but
a guy that's again, Tony. I mean, what was 149? How many yards did he have? He averaged, I think, 11 per catch.
I got to go back to it,
but it was something around there, 11, 12 per catch. He's just not a guy that stretches the field and does things. Do you think that gets better over time? 28, 29. Do you think that really gets better? I don't know.
Here's my thing. He's a reliable pass catcher for a guy in Jalen Hurts who I think can be very serviceable on this team.
He can be serviceable
if he gets the right guy.
Yeah,
and Dave, we're talking. Yeah, you're right on. You're 11.2, 11.6, 12.0, and 12.4. That's his yards per catch for 4 years that he was healthy.
And how do you get those balls? It's on timing routes. It's on guys that
slants, deep slant, hard slants, right across the middle.
And where's our weakness? I mean, Hurts needs to get that game going to prove we could get a Michael Thomas. But again, I think it's a good debate. I think it's fair.
Well, the other guys we talked about last week were Mike Williams, Christian Kirk.
I want no wide receivers there.
And Allen Robinson, right? Those are the guys we talked about last week.
Yeah, I love Christian Kirk.
But did you guys look at it? Last year's wide receiver free agents, the top two were Kenny Galladay and Curtis Samuel. But it just doesn't work.
Kenny Galladay was like coming out of a nursing home. He's got a bad hip. I mean, what did you expect?
Same with Thomas.
Right? Yeah, but that's an ankle. That's an ankle, though, Dave. You're not going to get me on that. Not going to get me on that. I can't catch Mike guy, okay? So I love me some Michael Thomas. So I'm all in. Al says has to be the Rams versus the KC for the people. Anything less isn't going to work. 100% agree. Nobody else wants that. Rick, who just left here, he went somewhere else. Not going to mention the name. That's okay because he met some buddies that I'm watching from a mile away. Rick, as always, make sure you join for our Wawa segment a little later as well. But yeah, Dave, you make a good point about the free agent wide receivers, right? Because again, you got to watch how you spend money. Obviously, you want to build through the draft. You really, really do. So I think that those free agents were kind of like they were strapped in the sense that they kind of peaked, right? A Christian Kirk is a guy to me who's still young enough that's just finding that stride. And I'll tell you what, if he's utilized the right way, he every bit could be a 1B to Devontae 1A, right?
I agree.
So that and then you add Goddard, then you have that 1-2-3 combo. And the interesting part about the Eagles is what do you do with Miles Sanders, right? Because you're going to have to pay him money if you want him to stay here, right? Whether we like it or not, it's market value, right? So I don't know. I'm confused because running backs to me seem like a dime a dozen unless you have one of the upper echelon guys. So I don't know, man.
There, I agree with you. Kirk coming out A&M was fantastic, has the ball skills. He was what we thought Rager would be.
Yeah.
So you can put him in and be Rager, and I'm good.
See you, Rager.
Cut Miles Sanders, or at least I don't know what you do. Dime a dozen.
For that reason.
I'm with you 100%. Running backs, you got Kenny G, which Mark and I are big fans of. I think he can do just as well in that situation. And that's where you can actually dive into free agency and get serviceable people. It's in the running back game. You saw what happened with Jordan Howard this year. So I don't spend my money on if Kirk comes, I'm good. The other guys, but I actually go for wide receiver in the draft. That's where I go.
Yeah.
I like the younger guys. We've seen it over the years. Jefferson, obviously this year with Chase. That's really where the game is transforming to.
No, you're right. You're right. What do you think, Mark?
Well, I think the one thing is you look at, some of the more valuable wide receivers like in the past couple of years. I mean, you look back to the Super Bowl year and you look back when Alshon signed for a 1-year prove me deal, right? So I think if you can get a wide receiver who's willing to do that for a prove me deal, because I think the way that free agent wide receivers go this year shows you Curtis Samuel going to Washington and Kenny Golladay going to New York. Neither were really recipes for success. Like, it wasn't meant to happen. Like, Taylor Heineke and Daniel Jones, like, the situations were not great. Obviously, I know New York thought that they had more, but like, you think about it, if they can get one of the, now, if they have to pay money to one of these guys, no, but with, if you, for some reason, say Mike Williams doesn't get what he wants and you can get him on a prove it deal, I love Mike Williams.
I love Mike Williams, but can he stay healthy?
Well, but I think that's the chance you take at this point to get a good wide receiver. So you
got a couple head injuries too. You got to be careful of.
Right. I mean, but you have to.
Maybe he'll sign with the Eagles.
Right.
You never know. Man,
I'm just saying, if you can catch somebody on a good deal, you can catch somebody on a good deal. You're not giving a Kenny Golladay deal to anybody. Nobody on here except for Devontae Adams, but we know Devontae Adams isn't happening.
Well, here's the thing. So, do you think? Let's say it says, do you think Devontae Adams stays if Aaron Rodgers goes? Because that's what it's going to be up to. You know that, right? I think so.
Well, because
they can franchise tag him.
They can.
Yeah, but he can also say, screw it.
Yeah.
Hold now.
But that's the thing, like, and to be with Jordan Love. I'm saying he's got options out there. I mean, look, if they franchise tag him, he's stuck, but that's a lot of money to pay to a wide receiver when now you don't really have the quarterback.
No, you're right. You're right. No, 100%. It does make you think. And we're going to have more in this, throughout the season because there's a lot of off season left. There's so many different moves, pre-draft, post-draft, free agency camp. But the last thing to close is NFL talk. I got to call major violation, not to play on, Mikey Miss, but Jimmy G. Was there ever a worse quarterback, okay, a fraudulent quarterback to be able to, and not only win, but then to come off the field in Green Bay, act like you did something? You suck. He did nothing. Like, he's out there waving to the fans, putting his arms up like, yeah, look at me. Yeah, we beat Green Bay. We beat the Packers. He was terrible. Yeah, absolutely terrible.
You probably got to go back to Trent Dilfer, but he wasn't as
arrogant,
exorbitant.
Right?
And he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't
exactly.
But I gotta say that Jimmy G stinks.
He's terrible.
Stinks.
Like, really bad.
I can say with confidence. But this team is built so. And when you said your second man crush is Kyle Shanahan,
yes,
I'd almost put him as my first in this NFL coaching tree. Just he's so creative in the run game. He's so patient with that team. Like, I would have hit the plug a few times on Jimmy, and Trey Lance would have been in that game the other day. And I just knowing his inefficiencies and inability to stretch the field, but he knew a way he could get there. And but back to Jimmy, you're right, he stinks, and he is so lucky to be there. But they're built so much outside of Jimmy G. They got a great shot this weekend. They really do, just because how they're built outside that quarterback.
Yeah, I just think that it hinders him. I mean, he's not worried about pigskin. He's worried about other skin. I mean, good for him. His skin game skin game is legendary.
He's kicking game.
Okay, I'm just called his skin game is legendary. But throwing a football, forget about it, man. He does nothing for me. My buddy Tank checking it says Debo. He's talking about Debo, and that's another guy. Fellas, if Debo Samuel stays healthy, and Dave, you brought up about creativity. Mark, I know you play fantasy as well. I was looking at these stats and, just doing statistical data based on wide receivers when we talk about the NFL. Debo was a top 3 receiver in stats this year. Mm-hmm. That's how good he was, and he was hurt half the time, even though he played through injury. But is this guy that good?
His usage. I mean, he's dependable. He's out there. He can not only can he catch the ball, he can run the ball. Yep. He gets through holes. He does it all. I mean, he could do a lot for you, and you need a gadget guy. Like, I think that's honestly what the Eagles thought that Reagor was. Like, I know you guys made the reference to Christian Kirk, but I think they thought, oh, well, he could return punts, and he could return kickoffs, and he can run the ball in the backfield. I mean, you know how many times, and he and Reagor was actually more efficient running the ball than he was receiving the ball. That's terrible. See, the thing is, Debo can do both. Reagor can't do, and Reagor got hurt on that one touchdown in Detroit where he, hurt his foot or something like that. So the one time he actually made a positive play, he got hurt. So But the thing is, you look at Deebo Samuel. I mean, it's truly incredible what he can do because he's a gadget and he's a legit receiver. He's not like, just a gadget guy. He can do it all.
I completely agree. He does everything, and it goes right back to Dave and talking about creativity as well. So this is where we kind of break the show up a little bit. So we went through Flyers, went through NFL, we went through the Eagles I didn't know we were going to talk about Eagles, but that's what happens in the show. They hit curveballs every now and then. I found out Mark is a haterade. That's why I'm going to kick his ass off the mic in a couple minutes and bring my man Al in so we can talk NBA. No disrespect, Mark, but I'm a hurt.
It's all good, but I mean, you'll just let the tape prove it. Just watch the tape. Watch the tape.
What's the tape say, right? What's the tape say? Why we switch around right now? We got to go to our trivia question, and as always, right? We have one trivia question tonight. Right, we have one trivia question tonight. And tonight, as always, our trivia question tonight is brought to you by Prime Roofing of Southampton, PA. Not only do they rescue your roof, but they get it done right. Visit them today at www.primeroofingpa.com. He has my man Bernie. Tell him HRS has sent you. He gives us free gear to give out every single week for these trivia questions. And again, we also have we don't have a second trivia question tonight, but I got to throw it up there because these are our sponsors. And brought to you by the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame, who houses the world's largest selection of bobbleheads. Visit bobbleheadhall.com. We have the Joe Leonardi bobblehead to give away right there tonight with another trivia question if we get the first one. So it's a perfect trivia question because we're going to shift to Sixers talk right now. And the trivia question is this, and please do not Google this. The last three Sixers to score 50 points in a game. Last February was Embiid. Iverson, 10 times before that. Who was the third to do it? Again, Embiid, Iverson, the third Sixer to score 50 points in a game.
And
again,
Embiid just did it a couple games ago, too.
Yeah, what's that?
He did it a couple games ago.
Yeah, you're right. Dude is phenomenal. He's just dominating the NBA. And that's why it's a perfect time to bring my man Al. Al, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's going on?
Throw that mic in there. Get that mic nice and loud because, listen, I got to tell you, whenever you see the tweets go out for the Sixers on half-court heat, you see the tweets go out on Heat Ratio Sports, it's all my man Al. My man Al lives, breathes, and sleeps the Philadelphia Sixers. And I love how he was getting some flack back and forth going Joker and Embiid. That's going to be for a show as well. But right away, we got to start off. At the Sixers continue to be held hostage by Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid is dominating the NBA competition. I think we all agree. The question is, are we wasting his prime? And the reason why I ask that is Daryl Morey comes out and wants to get cute, saying, let's just wait. Let's just wait to the end of the year. We'll worry about it in the offseason. You have a guy that's going toe-to-toe with every single team, not resting on back-to-backs, playing 30, 35, 38 minutes, just complete destroying competition, putting his team on his back. Al, what gives with this? Can this be sustainable? And number two, do you feel that finally the trigger will be made to get Ben Simmons his rightful spot the hell out of Philly?
No.
Wait a minute.
Mark, you're back.
No.
I don't think it's going to happen. But I agree with him. A lot of people don't, but I do. I'm not giving them away for a bag of garbage. I'm not giving them away for this bottle of water. I'm going to max out what we can get for him. And if we have to wait to do it, then we have to wait to do it. I know Embiid is playing out of his mind and he can possibly win MVP this year. But so I'm just supposed to give him away just to make a deal? I'm not interested in that. That's just my personal opinion. I will wait. And if whatever everybody's crushing him for this. We stole Curry. From Dallas. Maxey, he made that.
You're talking about Daryl Morey.
Yes. Need I keep going on the deals that he has made? So he's not just out here doing
Horford.
Nothing.
Got rid of Horford.
No, that was
got rid of Horford.
Oh
my God,
Yeah,
got rid of Horford.
Yeah.
Got rid of Horford to the Thunder, right?
Whoever thought if we would have thought a year backwards, we said, oh man, we would never be able to get rid of Horford. He got rid of Horford, what I think it was like in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, he did. He got rid of that contract right away.
You got to give the man an opportunity to do what he's going to do. I know we can't do the number one, the P word in this city in any sport, but we need some patience. I know everybody's allergic to that.
You know I am. You know I am. But hold on, Dave. Hold on, real fast. I just want to. I want to ask Al this. I'll get to you only because I want to piggyback off what he said about not giving him away. I understand, but my point is, and my question to you is, what is Waiting going to actually do right now? It's a toxic situation. Nobody in the NBA obviously is willing to give up a lot for Ben Simmons. It's obvious. They know. I mean, would you as a GM want to bring that to your town? And number two, when you're talking about a guy like Mr. Halliburton out there in Sacramento and a couple first-round picks, right now you're getting zero production for Ben Simmons, and you will never get production for Ben Simmons again. Never. So if you're getting a guy who's a 24, 25-year-old player that you can build around, with Embiid, obviously build around Embiid, but another piece, you mentioned Curry, which I love Curry, but I still don't think, I think he's overexposed a little bit, playing too many minutes. I think that's why the turnovers are up, and he constantly, he's tired. He's not ready to play the role that he is, and I think that'll allow him to play less minutes. So, but my main question to you is, if they wait, do you really think they're going to get more than what they would get right now?
Well, that's not guaranteed, obviously.
Right, and that's my point. That's the only reason.
It's a crapshoot either way.
Okay,
but I think it's worth the risk. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So not saying, of course, we're going to, we wait, what is it, June, or let's just say August, and we're going to get a slam dunk and that's guaranteed. No, we could still bomb out, but I think it's worth the risk. That's what I'm saying.
No, listen, that's fine. Everybody has your opinion on it. Dave, what do you got,
I
buddy?
wanted to ask Al a quick question. Today, a lot of stuff came out, Al, and I think it's smoke coming from Morey. I think it's coming from the Sixers, talking about James Harden doesn't like living in New York. He doesn't like the apartments. He doesn't like the taxes in Brooklyn, and he's going to test free agency. Do you think that's Morey's way of throwing some signals out there? Yo, Brooklyn, let's make that deal now instead of off season, or even up the price from some other teams?
I don't see that happen. I think that's a lot of smoke there.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I mean, first of all, it would have to be a sign and trade, first of all. And it would have to be a trade on us because we got the salary to get rid of. They don't. He's a free agent, so he could walk. So it would just be getting something back from them. So I can't really see it happening. I don't really. I think there's so many. Didn't Morey say it's like Joe Smo website of this and Joe Smo and broadcast? It's just Heinz ketchup website. I mean, they're just making up websites and they broadcast it and everybody puts it out just because that somebody says it. Just because they say it, that doesn't mean it's real. The only person I take a big credence from is Woj.
And Shams. Oh, come on, don't leave out Shams.
Well, him too, but I'm talking about big time rumors. If it's coming from him, I believe. Anybody else is suspect.
Come on, man. Skip's got the first word all the time.
Didn't Morey confirm on Mike You Missed a Show that there was indeed action going on between them and Sacramento?
Yeah, listen, it's open, but here's my thing: if Ben Simmons what was so like if everybody was just lining up for Ben Simmons, you wouldn't have to create storylines.
Yeah,
the problem you're creating storylines because nobody wants this dude.
Right,
nobody wants him.
Actually, too, he did say, if you remember, you were listening to what he said. He gave you a little morsel. He said Sacramento knows the deal that they can get if they want to make a deal. So it's obviously Morey said, hey, this is what I want, and if you want to make a deal, let's do it.
They probably want to throw Tobias in, right?
Please.
Well, yeah. And
get him out.
And you got to understand, Tone, you know this.
Oh.
What's the value of trading right now, right? It's February 10th is when it's going to happen, right? You know, and if it doesn't happen that day, it's off season, like Al said. He needs to keep building the value. And I agree. There's not much value.
Small market philosophy.
And my small market philosophy, I've said it before, those teams out there that can't get a Ben Simmons in free agency, even though he may not have a lot of value to me, you know, the guys have seen him for 5-6 years, a team like Minnesota, a team like Cleveland, a team like that can never, ever sign those types of guys, I think could take a shot on him. I still think the deal can get done with Sacramento. I think it can get done with Portland, too. I'm not counting them out. Outside of that, if it's not those two, I don't see Atlanta. I don't like the John Collins.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that deal.
Yeah, it's not a good fit here. Yeah, and I just don't think you get a good package out of Cleveland. If you get DeJounte Murray, I'm in. I'm all in.
Get DeJounte Murray, man. Forget about it. It's over.
If we could get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Al, look. Yeah, Al, yeah.
Sealed delivered. I'm yours.
Done.
Yeah.
Well, him and Lonnie Walker, right? Was that the deal?
Oh, yeah, it could be him and Nate.
It could be him and me. Well, I'll tell you what. Wait a minute. I'm gonna go back on what Al said in the beginning and say he's not giving up Ben Simmons for anybody. I'm giving up Tobias for anybody. Anybody in here want to play? I will give you up to come to us and give you Tobias, okay? Because he stinks. He is the biggest. Listen, he's the biggest thief in the NBA. He looks at stats. Those stats mean I've never seen more shallow stats in an NBA player before in my life. I go to the games. I'm in there half the time. He's the softest player I see on the court. He never finishes plays. He's always hitting the rim. I'm sorry. And then he comes out, why are you booing me? You should like stop. Stop. You're getting $40 million a year for more than I'll make in my lifetime. And you can't hit a three. And you can't hit a jump shot. You can't create your own shot. It's ridiculous. You got me all worked up over Tobias. Now, Mark started it. Mark started the Tobias talk. So, yeah.
His aggression is
say, Al, I got Al's a law for words.
I scream at the TV a lot on him. He has an advantage almost every game, and he doesn't take advantage of it. He could take almost every person that plays him off the dribble, and he either lays it short or he lays it off the backboard, and maybe it doesn't go in. You got to go to the hoop with a more authority than he does, and I can't understand why he doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
I completely agree.
And here's an example.
Yeah. As we're watching live right now against the scrubs from the Pelicans, who got nobody playing tonight. Jackson Hayes is like their best. Him and Herman Gomez.
In my DFS lineup.
Right? Come on. Right? Jose Alvarado.
Did you play the right Hernan Gomez?
Alvarado.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like Alvarado, by the way.
Alvarado.
Just a little bit. Yo, remember him in Pitt made that run?
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah,
it was
man.
Big East tournament, I think.
He's a nice
Pitt,
DFS player
No,
tonight.
Georgia Tech. I'm sorry, he's Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. Bobby Crimmins, Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Bobby Crimmins.
Old
They
school,
won the
definitely.
ACC last year, but he balled out, if I remember right. I think it was G-Tech. But anyway, yeah, they got nobody tonight. No Ingram.
Nobody.
It's just they're actually throwing this game, and we're losing.
See that? So here's a good. So my buddy Tank checking in. He says Tobias misses more layups than Ben used to. I think that's an accurate statement.
It might be an accuracy.
It's not saying much, though.
No, it's bad.
But at least Ben would take it to the hoop and dunk on somebody.
As long as nobody was in front of him.
Except for when the playoffs came about.
Yeah,
you're not going to see Tobias doing that type of thing.
I was Isaiah Joe's hitting a three, but
No, that was Alexander Walker.
I'm sorry, that was no
Wrong
NAW.
uni.
Sorry,
Wrong uni.
NAW.
You want to talk about a guy that puts up shots and never scores. High volume, low output. But hey, I mean, Tony, I think I'm with you 100% with this. Don't waste Embiid.
I can't waste Embiid.
Really,
I just can't do
Mark
it.
and I talked about it on the ride up, and to Al's point, I think it's a good point that you don't want to give away nothing or get nothing for something, but can't you just then turn that around in the offseason, right? Like, bring me Halliburton, bring me Hield, bring me a couple first-round picks, and then if the Nets are sitting there dead in the water and they know Harden's going to leave, couldn't you then flip those two for Harden? Couldn't you?
Listen, man.
Because sign and trade. It's a Jimmy Butler deal. Remember what we got for Jimmy?
Please don't bring that name up.
But remember what we got.
I'm still crying over
But it was
him.
Josh Richardson and a plate of wings. And really, that's what happens in signs and trades, right? And so I think it's possible that if you trade now, that value could still get you hard in the offseason. My opinion.
I mean, listen, Mark, if you got something, just come behind them and get on the mic. It's all good, man. We got a big camera here, man. Like I know you're over there. Talk. Let's go, brother.
Yeah, no, you can't bring up Jimmy Butler around me. I got his jersey as soon as I possibly could. I love Jimmy Butler.
Why are you
so
crying?
much.
You're still crying, man. I'm still crying.
Absolutely. But
I'm still crying.
Now I wanted to get in on Tobias. The thing is with him, he wouldn't be here if the Sixers didn't flub up the Ben situation or the Jimmy situation, because
Great
the
point.
thing is, like I said, Elton Brand played fantasy basketball. he went out and got everybody for a half a season. So once you lost Jimmy, there's no way you can justify trading all those assets for those picks and to not bring either Jimmy or Tobias back. So they had to choose.
Yes.
Brooklyn was all in on Tobias. And that would have been now their franchise would be a lot different if they actually made that deal and they pulled the trigger. And the thing is with me, I agree. Like as Dave said, we were talking about with the Halliburton thing. You could totally flip that to Brooklyn if you want to. I don't want to trade him for nothing, but at the same time, you got to get something.
Yeah,
you got to get something. You really do.
You do.
And my thing is, everybody wants them to trade him in September and everything like that. I get that. Time is of the essence, but December or February 10th, that's the date that's going to matter. That's what's going to change things. If Ben's still here as of that point, then we got a problem. And I'm okay with saying that. But until then, I'm trusting Morey. And I think that a lot of this stuff, even the Harden stuff, I think actually favors the Sixers because I think Morey right now is saying, we're going after Harden if you guys don't give us anything for Ben now. I'll leave it at that.
We almost had Harden too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let me say this.
Yeah. What's up, Al?
Everybody's going to be disappointed.
It's Philadelphia. We're always disappointed,
Whole
man.
Philly is going to be on fire. Fire Morey. Fire this person. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well. Look. Speaking about disappointments, it's a perfect segue right here. Okay, we're on the Sixers, and again, still nobody got our trivia question. 50-point games. Embiid, Iverson. Who else? The third Sixer 50-point games.
Most recent Sixer.
Employees of Heat Ratio are not qualified for this question.
But keep it though, Al, because I don't think anybody's going to get it because we've already had a couple bonehead answers, and I don't think anybody's going to get it, which is all good. So I got to talk about Doc. And Al, you're the perfect guy for this because I got to ask you,
what you're going to say.
I got to ask. Doc Rivers has been very vocal about demanding respect from the media when it comes to his decisions. Does he have a point? It's a common question. And again, I'm sorry. Again, your basketball knowledge when it comes to coaches far exceeds mine. So that's why I'm going to pivot to you. But all I have to say is Doc did lose a 24-point lead. All the guy asked, which was Austin Krell, all he asked was, "Hey Doc, what coaching contributed to this loss?" I don't think that's a problem. You're not Pop, Doc. You're not Pop. So to say, would you ask Pop that? I don't know, man. Al, honestly, your honest, 100 transparent opinion. Doc Rivers, is he right or wrong here?
Well, he's wrong. He's wrong about how he said it. What his response was.
Okay.
All right. So what they're saying, first of all, let me make sure he did not compare himself to Pop. He did not. I think that's just the first name that came to his head, and then that's why he said that name. So everybody just crushing him saying I don't think he compared himself to Pop, but I just think he answered it wrong. Of course, coaching had something to do with it. Players, everybody has something to do with it. But he just had this, his response should have been a lot different. I think he was a little annoyed by something somebody else said before that. And then when that person said that just pissed him totally off. He just said it wrong. He just got to say it a little different. That's all.
He did the same thing to Keith Pompey to some extent.
Yes, he did.
Which was wrong.
He's hating on Keith Pompey.
I actually watched that whole thing that night.
Did you watch the whole presser?
Yeah, and I tweeted right after because I was like, and I'm not backing down. It was a total inappropriate response from Doc Rivers, in my opinion. And I'm not the media. We're just guys talking about sports. So I'm not siding on the media here per se, but it was a fair question. You just blew a 24-point lead. You've been known to blow 20-point leads. Look back in the playoffs to Atlanta Hawks. It's a fair question that you can simply answer. I agree with that. Answered it probably wrong. Took it personal. But you have a responsibility to answer those questions from the media when they're fair like that. And I just thought he took it personally and went the wrong way. And it shows me a little weakness in Doc, right?
Yeah.
And it really shows me he's living on the edge here. There's some doubt. We've all had some doubt in Doc. We were excited to bring him in and get some accountability. I think that was the big thing we wanted with Doc.
It's a great word for that.
When you start seeing, you lose to the Atlanta Hawks, which are now like the 10th seed in the East, that they're terrible. And then you lose these leads consistently. You got to answer these questions. You do. I think it was a Bush League move by Doc that night.
We hold on. We got an answer. We got to guess. I like this name. Our man Larry checking in says Willie Burton. Is it?
Close.
Is it Willie
He would have
Burton?
been number 4. He would have been
Wow,
number
Larry,
4.
that's a great guess. That's a
Yeah.
really
Remember
good
that
guess.
40-point night?
We'll give you a hint. It was the year after Willie Burton.
Wow, that's that to me though, Dan. That sounds like that's a good.
This guy's on the verge.
He's on the verge, but
He's in the
that's a good
ballpark.
honorable mention. That's prime roofing gear worthy. What's what I'm thinking. So
We'll give him a Doc Rivers bobblehead.
yes, we got some prime roofing gear for Larry. And listen, also, Tank says blows 3-1 leads in the playoffs, right?
Love you, Tank.
The Sixers are disrespecting the Philly media and fans. I like this. That's my man. He knows.
This
He
is
knows.
right up your alley when they start saying that stuff.
Yes, you know that. You know that. Well, here's the thing. Can I ask this? Because again, I'm going to be honest. When I ask, is Doc overrated?
Oh,
Whoa.
Hold on, go, Dan. Let's go.
The King of Heat was all over me 2 weeks ago.
Why? What did I do?
I was all over Doc, and you went off on me about
Doc?
about his players, and it's not his fault he had this player in L.A.
Are you sure that was me?
No, I know it was you. It was the man to my left.
No, I think I was. No, I was thinking I was Nicky Nuts.
No, it wasn't Nicky Nuts. I went on. I
don't remember that at all.
On Doc, and you
I'm not
defended
going
him.
that far saying he's overrated.
I'm not.
And
He's
by
been a
the way,
disappointment. I'll put it that way.
and by the way, in that terrible loss, which it was a terrible loss,
Terrible.
we
Terrible.
are 11-4 in our last 15. Okay, so let's not forget.
Rainbow
were
Al
playing-
over here.
We're playing very well right now.
I know.
That was a terrible loss, but we're not. That's what he should have came back and said. Yes, we didn't play good tonight. We blew this lead. We relaxed.
Did they steal
kept
any
playing.
games, Al? Did they steal any games in this streak?
Yes. We won.
They won
against,
what the games they should have won, in my opinion.
No, but they also won games that they shouldn't have won.
That's what I'm asking. Which
We
ones?
beat Miami, we beat Chicago in this streak, and we went to Brooklyn and won with KD and Harden. Now we didn't play. Kyrie wasn't back for that game,
Yeah,
but
those are
KD and Harden
All right,
was there.
good- those are good ones.
So the only thing, Tone, I'll say about Rivers is it depends where you rate him, right? I
Yeah.
rate him as a middle of the road coach. So at that point, is he overrated? Probably not. He's a middle of the road coach. So I want Doc Rivers to be here. I wanted him to grow
Me
the young
too.
kids.
Me
and,
too.
And what I can give Doc Rivers a lot of credit about is Embiid is absolutely a new man. He is so refreshing to hear. And I think Doc, and I think a lot of that's Doc. So I give him a lot of credit from that standpoint. His in-game play, it can be. We
His
can talk about
rotations
that.
are very questionable.
They're questionable. Like Korkmaz
Very-
played
I brought that
defense
up
in the
too
last
2 weeks ago.
Right. So
Okay, Dan.
But you got to replay that show from
but
2
I
weeks
gotta-
ago.
But we got to give him credit for who Embiid is right now, and
Yeah.
that's where I do give Doc credit.
Okay, maybe, but I think he's got a phenomenal coaching staff to help Joel as well, right?
You're soft pedal, but you wanted to crush him, didn't you?
With who?
You wanted to crush Doc, didn't you?
No, I'm just. Here's the thing. I wanted Doc here,
I
right?
feel it in my bones that you want to crush him.
Get him out.
You know what it is? I don't like the snappiness at the media. That bothers me. Like, honestly, I feel like, bro, who are you? Like, relax. Like, Doc. Come on, stop it. Stop it. This is Philadelphia. You've been around. You already know, right?
I want to jump in here.
Yeah, go ahead,
I gotta
Mark.
say the key phrase that he said in his response to Austin Krell was, "I earned that." He's won one championship with 3 Hall of Famers. So when you say I earned that, that's where I say all credit's lost. So he's making himself like that. I was a component for him. I wanted him here.
Me too.
If we go back to our old 4th and Go shows. We wanted him here. We thought he would be way more competent than Brent Brown. But you look, he has, but you're seeing the same mistakes that Brett Brown made, and it kind of has to do with the players. But I think Embiid has taken that step forward. But remember, I think, was it I forget who they played. I don't think it was Brooklyn, but they played another one where they couldn't get a shot off at the end of the game. They couldn't get out from half court. It was earlier in the season, and it was a very Brett Brown-esque type of play coming out. It was.
I love it. No, I love it.
I don't know if I can go overrated, but honestly, he's been a huge disappointment because he's had more and done less than he should be able to do. Honestly.
Listen, I agree. And Tank checking in again says, Yes, he is overrated. He won his championship with Hall of Famers in Boston. So Tank's on the overrated Doc train as well. I mean, listen, he came from Clipperland, and that was a really bad loss that year, man. That was a really and then to come right to us and do the same thing from Atlanta. That's tough. Dan's getting nuts over here.
I also say
different
that
Tony tonight.
I also say that coaching
Jigsaw
gets
changes
too
faces.
much blame, and I think, in my opinion, coaching gets way too much blame, and the players play. And then that last game, that game 7, Ben, our superstar, had 8 turnovers. As a team, we had 19 turnovers. So those type of things are not on Doc.
In my opinion, that sucked.
Doc isn't out on the court. Doc can coach.
It got to a point though where stress should never even
play.
happen though.
Huh?
They were starting to feel the heat.
Oh yeah, of course.
And it should never
game
got
7
to that.
and you're building and you're supposed to win.
Yeah, but they had a big lead, and it should never have gotten to that point.
100%.
You're right.
And
But
if
hold
I
on.
see
We
Court
got
Maz anymore, I'm gonna like jump out.
we got
a window.
breaking news. We got breaking news right here on Heat Ratio Sports. I think we got double answers.
Oh, double
Answers here on the trivia question. We got Tank and Rick checking in with Dana Barrows.
That is the correct answer.
And ding dong. That is it. So Larry, that's a great honorable mention with Willie Burton and Tank and Rick, man. Dana Barrows. That's a great call. 100%. Now Tank's still he's still going on a train here. I don't credit Doc for Embiid's development. Says nobody else has developed on this team. Al, do you agree with that?
Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey.
That's Cassell. That's Sam Cassell.
But that's still Doc. You can't like say, oh no, that's one person. That's not. You got to give him some credit, and I think Doc has gave him more aggression. Do you agree with that? Has gave Embiid more aggression?
I will say this. I hope he is the one that stopped him from shooting all the threes. As long as he's done that, I'm in. Because I honestly, because I want him to be down. I want him to be that, and that's what he's doing now. I mean, I think he's only has like 3 attempts in the last 3 games from behind the arc. So, which is what we've always talked about, right? And he's dominant. I mean, I've said it. He's the most dominant force I've ever seen since Shaq. Right? I think we've all can agree on that. What other center's been this dominant? He's at will, can do what he wants, right? Do what he wants.
I've always said that the only person that stops Embiid is Embiid. And I'm talking about taking too many jump shots. Because if you're on a block, who's stopping him?
Right.
So is no stopping it. Or when he's missing his mid-range. When he's missing his mid-range and then he stays with it too long, that's when he's stoppable. But if he changes that up and then goes down low when he's not hitting that and then come back out, he's unstoppable.
He is. He really is. He's amazing. Go ahead, Mark.
I'll make some kind of a comparison, but you look at Andy Reid. Before he got Mahomes, he was great Monday through Saturday, right? He could game plan and everything like that, but actually doing stuff in game, I think that's kind of where Doc loses his way. I think not knowing when to call timeouts, not having his players accountable, not setting up the right plays. So, but you look, and so there's good things that Doc does, and the good things are the development of Tyrese Maxey. But then I look at one thing, when we talk about Embiid maturing and becoming a better player, I think a part of that has to do with the Simmons situation. I think he had to take a look, and a lot of people say that NBA players, they hit a point around 27 years old where they take that next step and they get more mature. And that's really when most of these guys, the elite players, win their titles. They're usually not winning them at 21, 22, 23. He was immature. He was all about Twitter. He was all about doing this and that and the other thing. But you look, and I think this whole Ben Simmons thing has been such a deterrent on the other 14 guys who showed up and said, hey, we're here. He took them under his wing. He said, I got to be the guy now. And because also the Sixers, they've coddled and they made the center of the franchise Ben Simmons. He was the franchise. That was who they put all their eggs into that basket. They lucked into Embiid the way that it happened. And I think they always took Embiid for granted. And I think they're lucky now that he didn't turn their back on them because he was all in on the process. So you look at it, I know I kind of got off of the Doc thing right there,
all right.
But I think Doc does good things like setting, like getting the most out of the players. I think Embiid's taking a step forward. I think Maxey is taking a step forward. I think Seth Curry has, taken a step forward, even though I think at times we talked about earlier him being exposed, but he doesn't shoot enough. And I think that's kind of the problem. And I think what's happening is he's kind of losing himself. And the thing is, he should be shooting more. And that's a deterrent to this team.
Minimum 15 times a game. Minimum Curry should be shooting 15
Curry's
times
been
a game.
Parlay killer, man.
I don't know why he's not in any game. In my opinion, that Maxey shoots more than him. That's not a good thing.
So
I think Curry should be shooting more than Maxey.
So on that, Al, which is a great point of both of you guys, because Tank checking in says Maxey and Embiid have great chemistry, and he also says him having a child also has matured him. That's a huge point.
Huge point,
right?
Yes.
So that's a huge point.
Does
so
Tobias have kids yet?
I don't know. If he does, they're not shooters. But
by the way, at halftime we're down 8. I can't even explain why, but I'm looking.
Wait, we're down 8.
Yeah.
And
to
I'm
the
looking
Pelicans with nobody.
I'm looking at the stats in his defense. His defense and turning the ball over too much. They're shooting 52% at halftime.
Let me just tell you guys something. This is how bad that is.
Come out to play.
This is how bad this is right now. The New Orleans Pelicans, the New Orleans Pelicans, are so bad tonight that their highest DFS ranked player was $4,700, and he stinks.
Yeah,
he stinks. People are playing $3,100 players in their lineup, and they're getting smoked right now.
So, Tone, as one of the betting guys on this show, I will tell you this. This happened to me the other night. They did similar to the Orlando Magic. Mo Bamba was lighting them up for 28 in the first half. I tweeted out, pound the Sixers at the half. They're -1.5. I would do the same now. They're -2.5. If you're by your phone, they're going to come out and play a good second half. They do this versus bad teams sometimes. Little sleep early. I think they close this game out, win by potentially double digits. I think they're a good bet, 2.5 at half.
That's locks right there.
Locks.
I like it. Locks. I like it. So listen, we got 2 quick segments to end this show with, and we always do these Jigsaw Chronicles. What's a lot of people think, and they're fun. There's something different to get us off, and then we're going to go with name the franchise, name your face of the franchise, like we always end the shows. So Jigsaw Chronicles tonight is the Wawa waiting line activities. Now, somebody came out with this, and what do people do? They rate it what they do while they're waiting in line at Wawa. Now, again, we talked about the Wawa gas pump. We already talked about the Wawa air. We talked about it. Just seems that everything goes back to Wawa, and understandably so. But here's funny. So this come out. It says, where do you stand while waiting for your order at Wawa? And the list says blocking the chips, blocking the coffee island, blocking the prepared food, out in the middle, all the way to foot traffic, directly in front of the counter, like a psychopath, or out of the way of the counter where you will not hear your order called. Now, here's what I will say. The people that are morons that block the line, like, listen, you have a slip. It has a number on it. No, listen, we can't we can't speed up the process. If you're number 38, you're going to get number 38 when it's me. Like, you're not getting in front of me, but it's like the lunch meat counter, right? Nobody's getting your food in front of you. You can't help it. So, like, if I stand in front of Dan Green, I'm getting my order in front of Dan. Well, I just got 5 meatball sandwiches, and Dan got a side of mashed potatoes. Like, who's going to get their food first, right? I mean, it's comical about what these people do in Wawa. Dan, have you ever witnessed such a thing?
Definitely, and that's why I will only use the app. I have a routine. And Al, you got to use the app.
Use that.
And self-checkout, by the way.
So I'm already done. I show up and I grab my food and go.
Wow.
The Tuesdays and Fridays are my Wawa mornings. So that's what I do. I get my coffee. I love their egg burrito sandwich, or whatever it is.
Okay.
So, but the problem I have with Wawa, this is a different Jigsaw Chronicles.
That's okay. This is Dan's old school green. Yeah. This is hot takes. Quick takes.
What drives me crazy is I'm a teacher, and often around Christmas time, I get Wawa gift cards.
Okay.
You can't consolidate the damn cards.
You can't?
No.
So
So
you
it's
gotta-
like I've got like $15, $5, $10. So I had an order of $17, but I have like 15 cards.
Oh, you're
So
one of
I
them.
had it.
You're one of those guys.
I have no choice, Tone.
Bro, just use one.
No, but I'm
And
saying,
pay the rest.
No, let me finish the story.
Okay. Because I'm yelling if that's you in front of me.
No, I was at home. I'm doing it for my app, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So I'm on my app and I'm going to check out on my app at home, Tone.
Okay.
And I had like $13 on my main card, and my order was $17. It wouldn't let me go to my next gift card.
Okay.
So I had to load for my credit card more money for that one. It's a little. That drove me crazy.
So you held yourself up.
They're flawed.
I
I,
don't care
held
about
myself
that.
up.
All right, that's cool.
In more ways than one. But the app's the way to go, and I have all the apps.
Gotta
Dunkin',
get the app.
Wawa.
Gotta get the app.
But yeah, Wawa's crazy, and part of Wawa's their own problem. They sometimes don't have enough people at the register.
You're right. That's another violation.
That is true.
Right? I mean, come on. It's your one-stop shop.
It's 8 in the
Everybody's a
morning,
Wawa.
50
Why are you
people
not prepared?
Going to register. Come on, people.
It's never a good thing to only have one register open in any Wawa any time of day.
And wait, how about? I know it's a little different in the line, but the morons that take up the entire coffee counter. You're getting one cup of coffee, and you got sugar over here, you got the creamer over here. You're side by side next to the trash cans. Like, why are you taking up the entire space? Like, there's so much Wawa etiquette. We could do an entire show on it. Really,
It's very true.
It is true. It is true. But real fast, got a comment. Larry checking in. Says Doc Rivers from day one did not hold Ben Simmons accountable
He's a
for his
treasure.
shooting. You're right. And the first time Doc Rivers, Larry, said something in a press conference about we can't win with Ben as a point guard, that Ben cried wolf and now doesn't want to play anymore.
The first time he held him accountable was when he kicked him out of practice because he wasn't even trying earlier this year. That's the first time. So he's right. He never held him accountable. He said he can make Ben Simmons into what he wants. He'll figure it out. He never did. And it's too little, too late.
Yeah, it's too little, too late. It is. Well, what's not too little, too late is to get down here at Steam Pub in beautiful Bucks County. As always, sponsoring the show at Steam Pub on all socials with the real-time draft beer list. Get here. They have a ton of different things on the menu that you need to try. I haven't eaten anything. My guys have been shoving their face all show, but that's all good. I'll eat
That's
later.
not podcasting
Right?
etiquette, by the way.
It's all good.
It's 100%. You gotta show off look how
God.
good it looked.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here
It was
trying
on
to
my
run a
face.
show. I got people getting beers and wings. You know what I mean?
Next to me, I'm dying here.
Man, my God. But let's get on to the final segment, which is pretty cool. It's named to face the franchise, something we do every week. It brings up an entire different discussion, goes a little national. And tonight, this week, we go to the Pheonix Desert. And we talk about this. We bring up a team. We take a team. We say, it's not who you think the face of the franchise is completely because of their stature, but your most fond memories. Who do you recall?
Oh,
and we're going to go to the Pheonix Suns. We're going to go NBA and Pheonix Suns. And there's a lot to this. There's a ton to this. You could go way back. And I'll just start it off, and then we'll just go right down the line. And obviously, for me, it's Kevin Johnson. Now,
that's way back.
It is, and
KJ.
I say KJ because he made being a point guard cool.
Yes.
He really did. I mean, listen, AI has always changed the game forever with culture and music, which I absolutely love, and he's my favorite Sixer of all time. But when you talk about NBA, who changed what it meant to be cool, it was KJ.
Stole him from Cleveland.
Right? That's a great call. That's a great call because I completely forgot all about that.
They had Mark Price, and they got rid of
Mark
Kevin Johnson.
Price.
Look at the
Mark
knowledge
Price,
right there.
That's
sleep
only
on
because
me,
he
Al.
liked his hair.
Don't sleep on me, Al.
Yeah. Mark Price. Was that the Lenny Wilkins team? Mark
Yeah.
Price? Craig Eglo? Larry Nance? Who else on that team?
Brad Daugherty.
Larry Nance
Brad
comes
Daugherty.
up- Larry Nance
Don't
comes up
sleep on
also
me.
with this category.
Yes, you're right. So I'm going KJ. He was one of my favorite players to watch growing up. I loved watching that team with him and Tom Chambers. I really enjoyed that Pheonix. Tim Perry, Kurt Rambis was on that squad, right? But
Paul
Richard
Westphal.
Dumas, right? Who unfortunately had a drug problem and he couldn't.
Little
Cedric
bit.
Sabalos was on that team, right?
Yeah.
Blindfolded, winning the slam dunk contest. But for me, face of the Suns, in my opinion, for what I remember, is Kevin Johnson. So, Dan, what do you got?
Well, I'm called old school for a reason.
Oh, here we go. We're going tight,
We're
ball hugging shorts. Come on.
Ball hugging is like an understatement. So my first year of the NBA was the 75-76 season.
Ooh.
I was a 7-year-old lad.
I wasn't even born.
I know. Stop it. but I encourage all of you. I mean, this is your homework assignment. Game 5 of the NBA Finals between the Phoenix Suns and the Boston Celtics went to triple overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite player on that Suns team was Paul Westphal. So that's where I'm going. And ironically, he was drafted by the Celtics, and that was his first year with the Suns.
Paul
Westphal. And one of the greatest shots in NBA history was Gar Hurd sending it into one of the overtimes. You got to YouTube this Game 5 of the 76 Finals. So I go mid-70s Paul Westphal, and real quick, I have to build on what Tone said a minute ago. I go early to mid-80s Larry Nance with the Suns. He beat the Doctor in the slam dunk contest in '84.
Dang, that was
good.
We got to give you, I mean, you went way back, as always. And he said homework, too. So, yeah, you could tell he's a teacher. Glock, what do you got, buddy?
So
Phoenix Suns.
It's funny. My father-in-law lives out in Scottsdale.
Sweet.
So I go out there every year. And
go to St. Andrews?
Yeah, I've been the same.
Oh.
I've been all around, but I always made sure I watch a Phoenix Suns game. And I'll tell you, it was in that era that they were just electric. They had, the run and gun style. And for me, it's Steve Nash. You just have to understand that the way he played. And I want to say Amari, right? And then don't forget about the Matrix. I don't want to take away from everybody, but Nash just changed that game and gave the Phoenix Suns this type of personality. When you knew going down the desert, you were up against a run and gun style that was going to be hard to compete with. They played a different style of basketball, similar to what the Nuggets did back with and the Suns did with Westphal. But it's Nash for me. We could go back to that championship team, but Nash, man, he was the best.
What we got, Mark? What we got over there? Talk to me. Yeah, well,
it's tough because I'm not much of a Phoenix Suns connoisseur, but I was gonna go the same thing. Steve Nash, him and Amari Stoudemire, like D'Antoni, like the running gun offense was a different thing to watch in the NBA. I mean, the thing is, he might have stolen a couple of MVPs from Kobe, but he was still a great player in his own right. Let's be real. Got to give credit where credit's due. But Steve Nash was something different. Pretty much a Canadian soccer player who, took over the NBA.
Yes.
I mean, you look at it like a completely different thing.
Made long hair cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was Santa Clara?
Santa Clara, yeah. Wow, that's a good pull. But Mark, we're real fans. What was we got a little fan interaction over there. What was that about?
Yes, about shots.
Oh, man. Already we got line shots up, huh? Oh man.
I have
I can't. No, man. Jigsaw's trying to say slim, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I can't. Only if it's on sweet iced tea. I could shot that all night long.
I don't think we'll say no. I got Thunder Dan.
Who you got, Al?
Thunder Dan.
Thunder Dan Marley.
Dan Marley. Like
Thunder.
With a vein in his shoulder.
He was the Phoenix Suns back then. He was the Phoenix Suns. I'm talking about him and KJ, and then everybody else start coming in. Then Chuck start coming in, and all the other Sabalos, and how about Richard Dumas?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
When I said the Matrix,
If
Keanu Reeves was on that
Sean
team.
Marion too.
Sean Marion. Yes. Oh my God, I forgot all about Sean Marion.
Got a lot of Dallas overlap with the Suns and the Mavericks.
How about
Marion Nash?
what is his name? Big guy from Arkansas.
Klein Contact.
Oliver Miller.
Yes.
The Big O. The Big Oliver Miller.
That's a good pull, Tone.
Yo, you like that?
That's a good pull.
That's Nolan Richardson, Arkansas, man.
The Big O was a beast in college, and then he got in the NBA, and he couldn't hold his weight down.
Did he play with
Larry checking inside the Gorilla?
Did they have that little guy Dillard that would shoot from half court threes on Arkansas?
Yes.
He was a big boy, man.
Yeah, he was very big.
Him and Corliss Williamson, right?
Williamson, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Corliss Williamson. And before that, if you remember, before that, they had the two guards. They had Lee Marbury and Todd Day.
Yeah.
Which they had a really, really good guard.
Do you remember when they used to call Williamson the Baby Barkley?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Or was that Weatherspoon? Or was that Weatherspoon? Was that Spoon?
Yeah.
baby. We always have a baby somebody, but we always get the wrong guy.
But Toad, I
That's
liked
what it is.
your Tom Chambers. I was almost there. I used to play
Tom
Super
Chambers.
Tecmo basketball.
Oh!
That dude
here's a trivia question.
He dunked, and he would dunk from the 3-point line.
Here's
It
a,
was
trivia,
amazing.
here's a trivia question. Name a team Tom Chambers didn't play for.
The Sixers.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he played for everybody.
I mean, somebody said Jeff Hornacek. I mean, that's a.
Yeah.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
we all remember Hornacek.
Before-
Because
we got him.
Unfortunate, we know Hornacek for the wrong reason.
Yeah, I know.
That's how they got Barkley.
Hornacek.
Oh, speaking of that,
Tim Perry.
our GM brought that up. Said we don't want another Barkley type trade.
Yeah,
Remember
but
that?
that's ridiculous, though. Right? I mean, that's so far-fetched, Daryl Morey. Stop it.
He has a point.
I don't know, man. Listen, if it's Halliburton and 2 first-round picks, that's nowhere near that trade that we got for Barkley. Right? I mean, that's nowhere near it, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, who was it? Was 3 guys, right? It was Tim Perry. It was
Andrew
Jeff
Lang.
Hornacek, Andrew Lang.
Yeah.
The killer.
So is Buddy Hield going to be our Hornacek?
See, I take
But
that.
Buddy Hill isn't trash though.
Right.
No.
I take that.
He's not.
Halliburton and Hield.
Hornacek wasn't trash with Utah either. After he
Yeah,
left
but that
us.
was the only player.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Did you think Tim Perry was trash?
I thought he was mediocre
Yeah.
at best.
You know, for some reason, to get back on Jeff Hornacek, and I'll be honest, I'm not trying
Nice
to be
chin.
funny, but
Nice chin.
you know who he reminds you of? Every year at Christmas time when I watch Frosty the Snowman, the Magic guy reminds you of Jeff Hornacek. I don't know why. So go back and look at the
Is that like
Magic
the Heat
guy.
Miser one?
Yeah, he's got the big.
No, it wasn't Heat Miser. Heat
He got the
Miser's
big
second
pointy
one.
chin.
Yeah,
and the hat.
It's
That's,
the
dude,
rabbit.
that's Hornacek.
It's the rabbit
all
runner.
day.
Yeah.
That's
All day,
That's
Chef
funny.
Hornacek.
That's funny.
Oh man, but boys, listen, we're gonna wrap this up, man. Heat Ratio Live at Steam Pub, as always. At Steam Pub, follow on all social formats as well. But these guys are making me jealous. They're drinking, they're eating. I got to get it in when I can. But as always, National Bobblehead Hall of Fame Yingling for our prize packs and Prime Roofing as always for our gear. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in, everybody for joining us here. As always, give us a follow at Heat Ratio Sports on all social formats. We'll catch you back here next Tuesday. Come out, talk with us, have a drink with us, mix it up, watch a game. We'll be here every Tuesday night from 7 to 8:30. And again, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and we will catch you next week.